from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the Grand Park Athletic Complex. Here on the coast of South Carolina, we're off to a roaring start for the 2023 9U Travel Ball Select National Championship game. Perhaps, anyway. One team will need 2 wins, the other just 1 win when Louisiana meets North Carolina. It's the Pelicans and the SBA Futures for the national crown in 2023. Hello again, everybody, and thanks for joining us back on the Travel Ball Select page on Facebook. Back alongside Rick Goff, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Well, here we go, folks. Potentially 1 championship game, maybe 2 in the 9U classification. Pelicans out of Louisiana into the national championship. The Pelicans Baseball Club had a really fine run inside of pool play, but they've been battling. Started in the winner's bracket. These 2 teams met in the winner's bracket. This is the 3rd meeting of the week between these 2 teams. We'll dive into all the details as we make our way through it. The Pelicans won a ball game here a little bit earlier in the elimination bracket to put themselves in this championship. The reason I go through all that is because that means what they need is 2 wins here over SBA Futures of North Carolina to be the titleists. Meanwhile, SBA Futures needs just 1 win to win the championship this year as they come out of the winner's bracket. These 2 teams were grouped in a pool together. Met once in pool play, met a second time in bracketed play. Again, we'll dive into that in greater detail as we make our way through it. SBA Futures from North Carolina ranked number 14 in the TBS national rankings. Pelicans Baseball Club out of Louisiana in the honorable mention. Rick, it's been a great week in the 9U classification and a 3rd meeting between these 2 championship caliber clubs.
Well, I tell you what, Chris, this might be my favorite age group to watch. To watch these young players do the things that they do that most people, when they talk about 9-year-old baseball, they say, oh, those guys can't do that. They're too young. They're too young. Well, you're going to see some things here today that's going to make you scratch your head and shake your head, because these teams here can flat out play, and they can play defense. So I'm excited. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad we're in Myrtle Beach. Let's get this thing underway.
Pelicans to the plate first under head coach Ryan Camp. And the first offering, pop foul back and out of play. Pelicans in the dark blue based uniforms. White pants, Pelicans written in script, cursive if you prefer, across the front. Logan Dorsey, the center fielder. Knox McClure, the third baseman, and Parker Olivier, the shortstop. You're guaranteed 3 in the top half of this frame. They will be facing Wyatt Blackburn on the mound for SBA Futures. In the electric blue uniforms, if you will, with the red caps. White letters and numerals pop up behind. Second, tough play, drops in. Dorsey aboard with a little bloop to start the ball game.
Yeah, that's a play that the right fielder just has to be aggressive. He has to call off the second baseman and take that. And you see that a lot at 9Us because the more assertive kids usually play infield, and the outfielders give way to that 9 times out of 10. As they get older, that will be a ball that the right fielder will catch almost 100% of the time.
Now, as I mentioned, this is the 3rd meeting between these 2 teams this week as Knox McClure comes to the plate. McClure, the third baseman. They got together back on Thursday at 10:30 in the morning. It was a 4-2 SBA Futures victory.
That seems like Pelicans. Such a long time ago.
Yeah, lots happened since then, right? Inside of pool play, as these 2 teams played each other in pool play, they both finished at the top of the standings at 2-1 record-wise. SBA got the pool championship, as it were, via the tiebreaker of head-to-head. Runner going. They might be able to nab him at second. Going to be close. They got him.
Trying to get a jump, trying to get a read on the pitcher. Went a little bit too early. This was an easy play. All he has to do is step off, turn, and throw to the shortstop. The hardest thing here is you just got to make a good throw. Just make a good throw, which he did right to the shortstop.
Sometimes tough to do in a spot like that, especially when you whirl around and you see that you might have him dead to rights. It's tough to just relax and get the ball to second.
That's the key word, relax. Mm-hmm. So many kids this time, they have to rush it. They have to make that perfect throw to the bag. All you got to do is just make a good throw. I used to tell my teams all the time, you don't have to make a great throw, just a good throw, and you'll get the job done.
The second matchup between these two clubs, that's the one of real note. Took place here yesterday, 3 p.m. over on Field 9. Ground ball at short. Oh, under the glove of the third baseman. Well, this one will be easy for you to break down, Rick.
Yeah, I like the aggressiveness by the third baseman. If he can get to a ball, anytime a third baseman can get to a ball, get to it. But the shortstop took it for granted that he was going to make this play, and he wasn't ready to make it in case the third baseman missed.
Game sent the Pelicans down into the elimination bracket where they won a ball game earlier this morning, 10-2 the final at 10:30 a.m. over a team you might know a little bit about, the Motor City Hit Dogs.
Little familiar with those. Chris, did you notice the last pitch they threw a pitch out?
Yes, indeed.
9 U's trying to execute a pitch out.
Parker Olivier at the plate.
You can tell they're paying close attention to the running game. They're pitching out. They've thrown over. It worked for them with the first batter. Let's see what happens here. And at 9U, if you get caught stealing, might make you a little gun shy for the next kid or somebody going out after that. You emphasize to the hitters, or I'm sorry, the runners, that you wanted to get them a good jump, but you don't want to get too good of a jump.
So the Pelicans baseball club at the plate with one man out and one man on in the top half of the first. Olivier, the shortstop. Blackburn looks in, finds a sign and deals. Bounced it up there. Oh, they may have him. Oh, he went to first instead, and the runner going to make it in at second. Well, a lot to break down there as well. The runner was at the 50-50 mark. Catcher had a chance, a decision to make. He went to first with the throw.
That's one of the things you teach kids. If you're caught, just keep running. If you try to get in that run down, chances are you're at this level, you're going to get an out. You're going to be out. So all good coaches tell their kids, just run to the second base, and whatever happens, happens. And in that situation, it worked out for the Pelicans because he's safe at second base.
Especially at this age range, 2, 9, 10, 11U, because you're forcing someone to make a play defensively. Smoke foul.
So at this level, 3 things have to happen, right? So the kid has to catch the ball first. Then he has to make a good throw to the shortstop, and then the shortstop has to catch it and apply a tag. So 3 things have to happen in order for him to be out. And you see a lot of times at this age level, those 3 things don't happen.
Blackburn set. From the stretch, deals. That one stays high, and it's hammered. Left center field. Carrying back there. It's caught by the center fielder for out number 2. Good play there by Micah Murphy to stay with it. And F8 and 2 men gone.
Chris, I'm not sure if you noticed, but I noticed setting here that the wind has picked up a little bit.
Yes, indeed.
And for more than it was in the first game. In the first game, it was kind of a calm wind. It was kind of a stagnant air. It's picked up a little bit, and we've seen that ball carry a little bit more out to center field than we did in the first game.
There's Jacob Eason now. Eason, the former starting quarterback at the University of Georgia. Wait a minute. Different Eason.
Different Eason.
Never mind. This Jacob Eason, the left fielder for the Pelicans baseball club. Little number off the end of the bat. Fielded it first. Here's the flip with Blackburn
Beautiful.
covering.
Well done. Well done defensively right there. You work on that in practice for so long, and for all these little, especially these 9-year-olds, they think that is the worst drill you can possibly do. It's PFPs, right? Pitchers covering first base on the throws. They hate it. They hate it, but look at there. That was executed beautifully.
Dylan Krause, the second baseman, Micah Murphy, the center fielder, and Ethan Murphy, the shortstop, will be your guaranteed 3 in the bottom half of the first inning, coming up in just a moment here for the North Carolinians from SBA Futures, another SBA program from North Carolina trying to win a national championship. SBA, as I mentioned, finished 2-1 inside of pool play. In fact, 3 of the final 4 in the 9U classification this week were drawn into the same pool.
Yeah, and people probably look at that and they say, well, how is that fair? How we do it here at the TBS Nationals, how we do that at the TBS Nationals is we have a coaches meeting the night before the tournament starts, and everything is done via blind draw. And that way it's the most fair way for us to do it. The coaches don't have that perception. They go to a lot of tournaments, Chris, and they feel like the tournament director is friends with somebody that plays in the tournament, and they might get a favorable draw and don't play the 8:30 game. Here it's done via blind draw at the coaches meeting right in front of the coaches. They see everything. It's on the up and up, and however it falls out. Sometimes it falls in your favor. Sometimes it doesn't. This was a very tough pool, and as you mentioned, 3 out of the final 4 were in this bracket here.
Well, the Futures went 2-1 inside of that daunted pool play lineup. Outscored opponents 31-21. They lost their first game of pool play to 5-Star out of Tennessee. 5-Star, one of the clubs that made the Final Four, lost here today, the 8:30 ball game against the Motor City Hit Dogs. Since then, a 5-game winning streak. In bracketed play, 3-0. Obviously for SBA Futures. 27-14 they outscored opponents. So overall, the North Carolinians 5-1 on the week. They put 58 runs on the board and allowed 28. Entered bracketed play as the number 3 seed. Defeated Canes Carolina from, North Carolina, as you'd imagine, in the 3-6 matchup, 13-3. Then took out the Motor City Hit Dogs 5-3 in the semifinals of that bracket in a 2-3 matchup. Then came that wild, memorable 9-8 victory over this Pelicans baseball club in a 3-4 matchup to put themselves into this ball game. Future's going to face Camden Steele, a left-hander on the mound for Louisiana. Dylan Krause with a 99 on his back takes ball 1. Fastball that was high and away. That one had a little bend in it. A little pop-up that's going to be tough and trouble. Krause with great speed making his way to the second base bag and sliding safe. Yep. Hit them where they ain't. So now each team with a runner in scoring position in the first inning. Pelicans, if you're just tuning in, got a man to the second base bag. Couldn't get him in as the last 2 men of that inning were retired. Now the Futures get their leadoff man down to the second base bag, and here's Micah Murphy. Point kid who needs to locate. He's having a tough time finding that outside corner to the 2 righties he's faced so far. Swing and a miss. Walked him. First 2 men aboard. Again, the Futures win this one, and they'll be the champs. Pelicans win this one, and then they will play a winner-take-all. Runner going from first. Throw will not be made. Stolen base, Micah Murphy. Stays high. Maybe a shade off the plate as well. Foul back into the screen. It is a very warm day here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina at the Grand Park Athletic Complex. Although not nearly as hot as it very often is. I spent a great deal of time up and down the South Carolina coast, family and friends. It's only 80 degrees here in Myrtle Beach, but we do have a heat index. The humidity is awfully for Cam Steele. He's got a Kraus started the ball game with a double. Made his way to third. Murphy walked, swiped a base, pop up. This will not plate the run. At second, 2 men gone. No trouble for Easton Jarrell. And now Cam Steele with a chance to get out of the jam. Tyler Biggins, the DH. Ground ball, center field, base hit. 1 run is in. Murphy to the plate, 2-0, North Carolina.
Big clutch 2-out hit right there to put SBA on the board. There's a saying out there, 2-out hits will get you to heaven.
RBI single from Tyler Biggins. Put the Futures out in front, 2-0. Ground ball. At second, Colton Orser is retired. Then got into bracketed play, won their first couple of ball games. Entered this ball game, I beg your pardon, at 4-1 in bracketed play. 42-22, they've outscored their opponents in the bracketed portion of our week. 6-2 overall as a result. 67-37. They've outscored their opponents. Even these clubs coming out of the elimination bracket, we don't like to call it the loser's bracket, you'll find that they are outscoring their opponents by hefty numbers. That can be a separation statistic.
That just shows me that they're aggressive at the plate, they swing the bat, they put the ball in play, they make things happen on the defensive side. And at this age level, that's usually a good thing for the offense.
Both of these teams have outscored their opponents by 30 runs entering this ball game. 1-2-3 inning. And the the top half of the second inning. We'll take the break in a 2-0 ball game. Wyatt Blackburn, Miles Jackson, and Jackson Hickman, the pitcher, left fielder, and right fielder. Home half of the second inning, where the men from the Tar Heel State will come to the plate up 2-0, a win away from the national crown. Futures, as I mentioned, lost their first game.
They has to think about it. The coaches probably tried to tell them, just those 2 games don't mean anything. This is the game right here. That's the message they got to send. This is the game that means something, not those last 2.
And it can mean something in 2 numerous ways, oh, by the way, because you won a 4-2 tightly knit ball game, but you also won a 9-8 ball game in walk-off fashion.
So you're right there. A play one way or another could definitely be different.
We've got ourselves a courtesy runner out on the first base bag for Blackburn. I'll get you his number in just a moment. Here's a ground ball down to third, kicked around down there. He's going to reach. Oh, baby, look at him going down to third, looking at the hustle. No one's there. There's no one at second. This looks like the Atlanta Braves moving along the base paths with Ozzie Albies and Ronald Acuna Jr.
Great heads up by the runner here, noting that the ball is just kind of laying there and no one is covering third base. Great job by that young man. And then the trailer runner as well, noticing that no one's at second base. Heads up for 9-year-old baseball.
It's Bryce Johnson who checked in on the base paths for Blackburn and instantly makes a big impact. So it's Johnson at third after the single by Blackburn, who's courtesy run for. And Jackson, Miles Jackson, the left fielder, he just reached. I hate to do it, but I got to give the third baseman an error on that one.
Yeah, we had a play like that in the first game, and I told you then, I think the third baseman should take any and all balls that he can get to.
Sweeps outside. Now Jackson Hickman.
But this
no, Rick, that was this ball game. That's just what kind of week it's been for you.
It's been a long week already.
That was the top half of the first. No, really, it was.
Oh, man.
I know.
Like such a long time ago.
I know. Swing and a miss.
So this is, again, 9-year-old baseball. The pitcher just had that play made behind him. Now it's runners at second and third with no one out. This has an effect on a 9-year-old pitcher. Now he thinks he's got to do everything himself, and sometimes he tends to overpitch.
Well, he's also throwing a ton of pitches, too, now, by the way.
And that's another thing.
Yep.
That's another thing. The pitch total will get up there for this young man.
Remember, he faced a situation, did Cam Steele in the first inning where the leadoff man doubled, the second man walked, so he had runners at second and third. Eventually had runners at second and third, but nobody out. Little cue shot, back of second. May fall, and does for a base hit. Runner coming to the plate, and he'll score. One hopper to third. That man's safe. It'll end up as an RBI single for Jackson Hickman.
Boy, I tell you what, SBA just runs the bases so well. You know, the batter saw the throw going into third base. He moves down to second base to get into scoring position. And here we are with the exact same scenario we just had with the last batter. Second, third, no one out.
Johnson scores the run as the courtesy runner. Miles Jackson makes his way down to third. Jackson Hickman with the RBI single, and he takes second on the throw from the right fielder. Dylan Krause back to the plate. It's a dangerous moment in this ball game already. Krause has got some real pop. Here he's popped it out down to the first base bag. That's a massive, massive out. P3 for Krause, who doubled to start off the ball game, and 2 men are gone.
Yeah, anytime you can get an out like that, keep the runners from scoring, that takes a little bit of pressure off your shoulders here, but we're still not through it yet.
Yeah, I beg your pardon. I said 2 men are gone. 1 man out, of course. 3-0 ball game now. Back into the screen. Micah Murphy's second at-bat in as many innings. He walked in the first, would steal a base and score a run. Sweeps outside.
Staying outside like that, he's trying to get him to take a weak swing at a ball, maybe get another pop up in the infield or something, maybe a comeback or right try to him here.
Strike. Don't do it, young man. Climb back in. Pop-up. In the triangle, right fielder coming in. That one going to drop in for a base hit. Takes a funny hop away from the right fielder and the second baseman. 1 run scores. Second man coming to the plate, looking for a rundown. Throw into the catcher. Oh, nobody home at the plate. Wait, does he get back in time? He did. Oh, my.
An adventurous play right there. That is a typical 9-year-old rundown right there. They got an out on a throwback, almost disastrous as nobody was going to be at the plate, it looked like for a minute. But a great job there by is that the pitcher?
Yes.
That's the pitcher. Great job by him filling in. He filled in late, but he got there at the end, and that's what matters.
Yeah, I didn't see him. I was screened out by the home plate umpire. For those of you who do not realize, we are literally right behind home plate. There we are.
There we are.
You can see
Hello.
us. I was screened out by the home plate umpire. Had no idea that Steele was on top of the plate. Here's Murphy. Ethan, that is.
Well, he got there late. He came from the pitcher's mound. He didn't get there when he was supposed to. But like I said, at the end of the day, he got there, and that's the main thing, to record the out at the plate.
Hickman was retired on the rundown. It was an RBI single, of course, from Micah
play.
Murphy. Got him. Ethan Murphy retired on the ground out, and that will end. Oh, we're going to have ourselves a challenge.
Nope.
Let's not hit the break quite yet.
Here we go.
Looks like SBA wants to challenge this call.
So here at the TBS National Championships, every team is allowed 2 challenges during the game. We have video replay. And the umpires are making their way back now to the replay booth, and we're going to take a look at it and see what we can see.
Oh, boy. Well,
Yeah. Do we got another angle?
No.
I think we're in the inning.
See,
But
that's
the
a,
SBA futures up 4-0. Sorry,
see,
go
that's
ahead.
a prime example right there of, we may think we know what something is, but we have to be conclusive. And there was nothing there that was conclusive, with the umpire being in the way and the late thing over there to the bag. So, no, one.
And Jarrell, Corbin Myers. Then back to the top of the order, and Logan Dorsey. Pelicans entered bracketed play as the number 4 seed. Got a big 15-5 win over the Carolina Rays. Then defeated 5-star of Tennessee by a 7-6 score in a 4-9 matchup. Although 5-star is a number 9 in the bracket was that's a tough draw. Especially since they had just defeated the number 1 seed, the Beaver Valley Red squad out of Pennsylvania. And then the Pelicans, of course, after that win versus 5-star, that got them into the ball game yesterday afternoon versus SBA Futures. Had to come out of the losers bracket. Of course, we prefer to say the elimination bracket. They had to wait on their opponent, figure out who they were going to match up with this morning. It ended up being the Motor City Hit Dogs, whom they defeated by a 10-2 final. Jarrell takes a strike on the outside corner from Wyatt Blackburn. How long the Motor City Hit Dogs been around?
Oh, man. When I was running my organization back in Michigan, they had just started up. So they've been around probably almost 20 years. Almost 20 years there in Michigan. They do a fine job out there, and basically they're really the only organization out of Michigan that's willing to travel out to these types of events to play the competition. I saw a pitch like that called in the Little League World Series back about 4 or 5 years ago. It was called a strike.
Yeah. Gives those guys behind the plate a bad name. You hate to see stuff like that. How about the bio on both of these clubs? Start with SBA Futures.
Well, SBA Futures has been around a long time as well. They have really made a name for themselves on the East Coast here.
Right.
And they have ages from 8, I believe, all the way up to the high school ages. And they are a real popular choice on the East Coast for players. They get kids that can travel in from all over. And they are one of the premier organizations in the entire country. Done a great job with everything they do and the coaches that they utilize. We've had them here at the SBA or the Nationals for a number of years.
Jarrell retired on a 3 unassisted.
And we've never had any problems with them. Their parents are tremendous. The coaches, the players, they do a good job on all of that. The Pelicans, they've come on the scene probably in the last couple of years. I don't know exactly how long they've been around, but they've really come out on the national scene. Their 12-year-old team is a highly respected team on the national level, and the 9-year-old team is following that path as well.
Sweeps outside. Corbin Myers now. Myers, the designated hitter. Six straight retired by Blackburn.
And I hear this from coaches all the time, Chris. When people in your area, so let's take the Pelicans, for example, in Louisiana. When people in that area see that these teams are willing to travel and come and play in events like this, and then it to be broadcast live, that helps your recruiting.
1-3 on the putout.
Yeah, that first inning was definitely a recipe for disaster. It could have gone bad in a real quick way, but young man settled down, got the rest of the outs, and now he's got it on cruise control right now.
Dorsey was the man who started the frame. Backhanded play at third, and he is retired.
Nice play. Nice backhand by the third baseman.
Both ends. Tremendous defensive plays. 5-3 the ground out. 8 set down in a row by Blackburn. His team still out in front 4-0. The man in harness, Tucker Harris, to lead things off. Home half of the third inning. Harris, a pop-out victim his first time up. Back into the screen. We're facing live bullets back here, Rick. We're two grizzled veterans.
Just let it hit the fence and fall to the ground.
Yeah. I was making this comparison earlier. I started watching Band of Brothers and its companion series, The Pacific. Don't know if you've ever seen them.
I have not.
Oh my gosh. Great pieces of, that's basically cinema, TV, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
Yeah. The old guys that sit behind the fence at these travel ball events, like us, reminds me of the grizzled old veteran Army and Marine and Navy guys who would just sit and let the bullets fly over their head and it would never even faze them.
Not faze them.
Nope, not one bit. Consecutive pop-outs for Harris on his scorecard, and here's Tyler Biggins. Biggins came up with a big hit in the first inning. Plated 2 runs with his 2-out single. Mentioned a moment ago how the Pelicans started their ball game offensively and how Wyatt Blackburn has settled in to retire 8 straight after the first 2 men reached. Well, first 2 men reached in this ball game for SBA Futures as well. And then the next 2 men were retired. The difference is the North Carolinians got their big base hit to plate a run, or 2 in this case, to take a 2-0 lead. They'd had 2 more just last inning for this 4-0 lead. Biggins started their scoring. SBA Futures made up predominantly of North Carolinians, most of whom from around the Charlotte area, extended metro.
Nice pitch there. He had him looking out over the plate. You can see he kind of dove out over the plate, come in on his hands and tied him up.
Got him.
Great piece of pitching there by Steele. Working the ball, moving it inside, moving it out. It's a nice job by that young man.
Sour wine now. Asher just made a fine defensive play at first base in the top half of this very inning. Both he and his compatriot at third made a couple of tremendous defensive plays. At the plate, he's 0 for 1. Popped out to the second baseman. Got him out in front. He's mad about it.
Yeah, good cut, though. I mean, he didn't take anything off of that. If I tried to swing like that now, I'd need a chiropractor.
Yeah. He's decked out, though. Look good, feel good, play good. Cleats matches bat.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
He's got a slick arm sleeve on his left arm. Back into the screen.
The cleats do match the bat.
Sure do.
Wow, that is an observant observation there.
He's got that hype bat that all the kids love right now. You could tell I have kids at the house, yeah.
You can tell mine are all grown because I didn't catch that.
Yeah. They'll try to do it, Rick. They will try to do it. Now, if he had an arm sleeve that matched, he'd really be feeling himself. Look at that shot. That's a gorgeous swing, and it's headed into the gap in right center field. This young man's got himself a ton of speed. This should almost certainly be a triple, and it could be more. They're going to send him inside the Parker.
Opportunity for that guy right there. That is awesome. Hits the ball in the gap, runs it all the way to the 250-foot fence, and this is what speed does right here. This is amazing by this young man getting around the bases as fast as he did. No hesitation from the third base coach. He was sending him the whole way.
5-0, North Carolina. And the SBA Futures. It's a big run.
With that kind of speed, who needs to hit it over the fence? You find a gap and hit it to the fence, and you're going to run all day long here.
That's a big run to go up 5-0 as we're closing in on the midway point of this ball game. Steals deal. Swung on and missed. Here's his counterpart, Wyatt Blackburn.
I tell you what, Chris, the score is 5-0, but Steele hasn't pitched a bad ball game.
No. Blackburn singled, and his courtesy runner would eventually come around to score a run. Six hits, a walk. Relinquished by Steele.
But he's around the zone. I mean, he's filling up the zones, and but SBA's bats are just hot right now.
Yeah, that's the thing about pitching to contact, which he certainly is. Probably in some of the tournaments they'll play, it's a little lesser competition.
Yep.
I mean, he'll probably pitch a 6-inning complete game and induce, I don't know, 10 ground balls, right?
Yeah.
10 ground ball outs, I mean to say, of course. OQ shot off the end of the bat and foul.
I mean, most of his hits haven't been hit. They haven't been hit that hard, with the exception of the last one there that went up the gap. But most of them just been little flares and just finding the right places to fall.
At short, sliding grab, pop up and throw, save.
Umpire saying it pulled him off the bag. Umpire saying it pulled him off the bag.
Now, before I write that down on my scorecard, let's see if it's challenged. That was a great play at shortstop, by the way. Whoa, good call. Looks like it, right?
Yeah, he appears to be off.
Well, how do you want to score that one?
He appears to be off.
You want to score to error or an infield hit?
Yep.
We're going to get the replay now, aren't we? Yep.
Yep, we're going to get the replay now. I think that's got to be scored. That's an E3. I mean, that's on the first baseman.
Yeah.
That's an error on him.
I hate it, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have to pull himself off the bag.
No. Nope, he just basically lunged out there to see what was going on. We get another look at this right here before the umpires show up. And again, folks, we don't influence the umpire's decision. We're making comments here. They look at it themselves and make the decision. Utilizing a three-man crew here for the championship, something these 9-year-olds don't get to see very often.
Runner breaking. This one out into right. No problem for the right fielder. And that'll end the frame. But a big hit from Asher Sauerwein. An inside the park gap splitter. Delivers the 5th run of the ball game for the Futures. Halfway home, they're now 9 outs away from a national crown. Back on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, everyone. The Travel Ball Select page on Facebook.com. That makes me sound old. Does anybody say Facebook.com anymore? Alongside Rick Goff, I'm Chris Mooneyham.
Well, I do, but I am old, so that's not helping your case.
It doesn't make me feel better, no.
That's not helping
really
your
doesn't.
case there.
Really doesn't.
No.
So here come the Pelicans to the plate. An offense that has been awfully, awfully good this week to the tune of 67 runs scored, entering the championship here today. Yet after the first 2 men reached on a hit and an E5, now 8 consecutive men retired. Blackburn to face Knox McClure to start the 4th inning. Keep in mind, once again, for those of you, the uninitiated out there, we will play just 6 innings in this championship. Just want to make sure to bring that up from time to time. Remind everyone that we are now halfway home. Oh, baby, what a pitch.
McClure is actually better taking that pitch. There's nothing you can do with that. If he swings at that, he's just going to beat it into the ground to shortstop or even back to the pitcher. So, I mean, that's a good take there.
Righty deals. Bounced it up there. McClure out of the stretch, by the way. Mentioned that a couple times, but didn't dive into it. No windup. But you'll see that a good bit here at the Sage range as well. Oof, that one kind of hung up there, but he brought it inside a little bit, so you got no offer from McClure, who, by the way, Knox McClure was the last man to reach the base pads here, Rick, with his reach on an E5 as the second batter of the ball game. There he is, back on the pads.
This getting late in the game, this is something you got to do. You got to get base runners on because he was in such a rhythm. You got to break that rhythm. And with runners on, now you'll see a little bit of change here. In the first inning, if you remember, they threw over 4 or 5 times because they're conscious of the Pelicans' running game.
Parker Olivier. There's the throw over.
Yeah, you got to believe they've played him twice already. And in those 2 games, coaches they take those scouting reports that they put in their heads. And so the running game is definitely a big part of the Pelicans' game, and SBA is paying attention.
Left center. Got a chance to fall and does. McClure's down to second. Olivier now 1 for 2 with a fly out and a single. And here comes Jacob Eason.
You know, we talked about this earlier, the hops that it takes off the turf. This could have been disastrous. As you saw right here, it almost hops over his head. Again, playing on turf for these 9-year-olds is probably something a little new. They don't realize how bouncy that turf is.
That was a great, quick, pull the hands in, compact swing by Olivier. Left field, may fall, does, base hit. Gets past the left fielder. It'll score the first Pelicans run of the ball game. 5-1. RBI hit Jacob Eason.
Chris, let me point out something here that I want you to see. I want you to watch the Pelicans runner. The ball's down and in the gap. The young man comes up and he throws and he airmails this ball to the plate. SBA runners are taking that extra base. The Pelicans did not. They stayed at first and second base with that ball coming all the way into the plate. Little things like that in a game like this make a huge, huge difference. Easily, this should have been a second, third situation with nobody out.
Well, it did make a difference when we pointed it out a little earlier in the ball game when SBA Futures did just that, and it enabled them to score runs.
Yeah.
Here's Kosinski. Roman was the first out of the second inning via pop out to short. He's got a big, big at-bat here, and he's juiced about it. Look at him waving the wand in the third base in the left-handed batter's box.
Well, I tell you what, the catcher got lucky there. That was a ball that was outside in the dirt, and instead of shifting his body out, he just threw his glove out there. They can't afford to have a pass ball go by right here. Keep the runners, keep the double play in order.
Ground ball at second. Chance for the double play, and it gets through the wickets. 5-2 game at the corners. Wait a minute. Now a little bit of aggression. Eason trying to force the play a little. Tying runs on the base pads. Yeah, the courtesy runner doesn't have to be someone off the bench. Sometimes that's a bit of a misnomer. People believe that it is.
Well, actually, it does. It has to be somebody off the bench.
Well,
but they don't have a bench player. So everybody's in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
So then we have to go back to the last out, the courtesy run.
Let me re-articulate. Exactly right. Someone who's not actively in the ball game out in the field is what I meant to say. Yes.
Keyword.
Sorry. But you're right, and I'm glad you corrected me. Or brought it to the listener a different way, because I certainly articulated it incorrectly. They're going to get the tag? Oh, they'll say he doesn't. Oh, holy smokes. Kosinski scores. 4 in the frame. And it's 5-4. Wow, boy, I really hate that for Dylan Krause. Probably the better decision there was to flip it to your man at the bag.
Yeah, yeah. But it goes back to what I'm talking about. It goes back to, you know, that ball will keep finding you if you keep making those errors. That's 3 balls in a row that's went out to him.
You want to call that a fielder's choice or an E?
I would give that a fielder's choice.
Indeed.
Give that a fielder's choice.
I like it. So 4 consecutive batters have.
Are they challenging here?
I'm going to challenge the tag. Okay. Well, is he asking for help or the replay? I think he's just asking for help here.
No, it looks like he's actually going to go ahead and ask for help. Or he asked for help first.
Yes.
Didn't like that answer, so now he's going to challenge. Now he's going to make it a replay, an official replay.
Well, that's big.
Yeah.
Can't blame him.
This will be their second one. They will be out of challenges after this. Bobby Green? Sure. Well, we just got word from SBA coach here. Bobby Green, if you're listening, your son told you to say Happy Father's Day.
Wonder what Bobby thinks about this. This is going to be. That's going to be awfully tough.
Watch the jersey.
He's got a great angle.
Watch the jersey.
He's got a great angle.
Yeah.
He's got a great angle.
You could probably hear the umpires in the background talking about jersey movement. I'm not sure how the young man missed the tag, but I got to agree with him. I didn't see the jersey move either, or his pants. If it looks like he might have clipped him on the backside, but
He's definitely not out of the baseline.
Yeah.
all right. So Steele will reach on a fielder's choice. Easton Jarrell going to come to the plate with runners at first and second in a ball game now that has absolutely turned on a dime. This was a 5-0 ball game for SBA Futures from North Carolina. Wyatt Blackburn had set down 8 consecutive batters, but then a walk, a single, some heads-up base running, by the way, in the middle of these at-bats, or the middle of these plays, plus consecutive E4s on consecutive batters, probably a better way to articulate it, plus the fielder's choice from just a moment ago. So, 5 across in the frame, but they're not even close to done. There's still no one out in the inning. You know what? I don't believe we can give the fielder's choice without an out. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, I think you can. You get a fielder's choice.
I forgot to break out the rule book. I didn't bring my rule book with me. You're probably right.
Well,
but you know what? You see what I'm getting at, though.
yeah, I do.
Yeah. So
I do.
That's a
curious
50-50.
scoring.
One of us is
scoring.
right here and one of us is wrong, but I think we can both understand where the other one is.
I do.
I think you have to give an out with the fielder's,
So you have to give an error to the second
because it would be an error if there was no out that was
Yeah,
accrued.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Squares, strike.
Yeah, I'm actually going to change my stance on that.
Yeah.
It is.
You can
it is
go
an error.
fielder's choice, but fielder's choice with the error on the second baseman.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Man, I hate that for Krause out there. He's in a waking nightmare right now at second base. Little pitch out. Set up maybe. 1-2 count. Corbin Myers on deck. Ground ball at second. Boy, wouldn't you know it, the baseball gods are going to test him again. One hopper down to first. Tying run to the plate.
Chris, isn't it amazing just how the baseball just keeps continually going to the same spot? But fortunately for that young man, he made the play that time.
The run will score on a throwing error, 6. Jarrell will reach on the 6-4 force. Here's a pop out to right. That's caught. That's Corbin Myers, who's retired on the F9. And so 2 men are gone. And all of a sudden, we're in a 5-5 ball game. Well, you talk about a team's offense rising off the deck. We've seen some great comebacks throughout the years, of course, here on Championship Sunday. That's not the bigger story. For me, it's the fact that, again, 8 in a row. Brand new ball game. Brand new pitcher, Colston Camp. Out on the mound now for the boys from Louisiana. Camp was at first base for his club. He'll face Jackson Hickman. Oh, wait a second. Dylan Kraus. Now we've got ourselves a
13 just subbed in.
Yep, 13 for 3. Absolutely right. Thank you so much. That is Bryce Johnson. Johnson's first at-bat of the ball game. Not his first appearance out on the field. He was a courtesy runner for Wyatt Blackburn back in the second inning and would come around to score after Blackburn's leadoff single. Ground ball at short, up, over, out. So it's Colston Camp's ball game now. He'll be the pitcher of record for the Pelicans Baseball Club. Now back to the top of the order, and Dylan Kraus. How about that ball?
That was one of those balls that didn't look like it was going to get to him anytime soon.
Sidearm falling off the mound there, and he hit Kraus. One out HBP.
This game has definitely been a tale of two different games, really. SBA jumps out to a 5-0 lead. Now the Pelicans have battled back to score 5. Just two different ball games. 2 innings to decide here, 2.5 innings. We'll see what happens.
Runners going. Kraus down to second and safe. By the way, we talked about the skill level for some of these kids. I know I mention this to you every single year, so I might as well keep my streak going. The size of some of these kids.
Yeah. I think it's a requirement that you have to be big.
It's crazy.
Big and strong.
Kraus again to third. Again trying to steal, this time to third. Wait a minute. Oh.
So they're going to call interference on the batter. They're going to call interference on the batter. And this is the right call. This is absolutely the right call.
Yeah, by the book, it's the right call.
By the book.
I loathe this call, though. Because the thing is, you don't know as a batter which way the catcher's going to go. You don't know if the catcher's going to step back and try to throw to third. You don't know if he's going to step up. So what you try to do is you try to teach your young men to just stay put. Stay put. And so I get it from both sides, but at the same time, man, that's a tough one.
Well, the rule is pretty clear. If he interferes with the catcher in any way of making that throw, he's out. And clearly by the video here, that's what he did.
Balk on Camp now. So the stolen base was taken away, at least the stolen base of third for Kraus was taken away. He had to retreat back to the second base bag. Murphy was out on the interference. Score that a strikeout in your scorecard.
Correct.
Right? But now, Camp has been hit with a balk, which will move Kraus down to the third base bag.
Actually, that's not a strikeout. That's a put out by the catcher. It's a put out.
That's right. You're right. Yep.
The interference is a put
Thank
out
you.
by the catcher.
It's a 2 unassisted. Ethan Murphy with 2 out and a runner at third. Murphy 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out. Biggest at-bat of his season. Stopped at the plate. Colton Orser came up with the stop. Kraus had broken off the bag at third and was thinking about it, but had to retreat.
What a great job by the young man to drop and block on that one. Again, that's another thing at 9 that you don't see very often.
Strike.
And I got to go back to that interference call, and I had to give kudos to the umpire to know the rules, to know what the call was to be. The batter's out. The runner has to go back to his previously the base before the interference took place.
Ground ball off of Camp. Runner to the plate. Safe at first. The run will score because he was safe at first. Now Camp is rolling around down there in the middle of the diamond. This has shades of Jesse Chavez for the Braves a few days ago when he was nabbed by Miguel Cabrera on a line drive.
That was a hard hit ball right back up the middle that rolled over to the first baseman and ended up being a bang play at first.
We'll take another look at it and keep in mind there were 2 outs. Oh, this was the play from earlier. We'll see if we can.
It looks like Coach Camp has challenged the call at first base. He's using his second challenge for this.
As to whether or not he was safe at first?
Yeah, looks
All
like
right.
they're going to challenge the play at first.
Let's see what we've got. There's the stolen base. Here we go. Keep in mind there were 2 men out, and that's why this call is so important down at the first base bag. Because if he's ruled out, that run will not score, and that'll be the inning. Got to go into the archives here and find the replay.
Well, here's one of the things with technology, that technology is not always perfect. We couldn't get the replay system to work on this play, so it's going to have to stand. You know, in 2023, you want technology to work as best as it can, but sometimes it just happens.
So that will score the run for Futures here in the 4th. An RBI for Murphy. A run scored for Krause. Second run scored in the ball game for Dylan Krause. First hit of the ball game for Murphy. Camp kicks and fires with a runner breaking. Out into right, shade over, make the catch. And the inning is over. A hit batter as the second batter of the ball game. Turns out to be a big one. 1 run comes across, 2 innings to play, 1-run game. Well, we make our way to the 5th. So now the North Carolinians 6 outs away from the championship, but it'll be very tough to get. Left center field down for a base hit.
I want to go back and revisit the bottom of that inning. I know the Pelican coaches are a little upset because we didn't have the replay challenge available to them. But, you know, our concern and our camera's concern, we focused on the injured player, and rightfully so. You know, I understand he's upset about the call at first base, but we explained to him since we did not have the replay available, we can't charge him for the replay. So he still has one left. I know it doesn't make him feel any better.
Yeah.
But, you know, again, I have to remind him that we have 3 cameras to look at. We're not ESPN. We don't have 15 cameras out here. We don't have that kind of production. And when we don't have it, we don't have it. And that's not the answer that they wanted to hear. But that's what happened. But we did give him his challenge back.
Eason 1 for 2. RBI single and later scored a run in that just incredible 4th inning that we saw in the top half last inning. It featured 3 hits, 3 errors, and a walk. Blackburn on the corner. Olivier's just delivered his 2nd hit of the ball game. Now 2 for 3. They'll check him. As I mentioned, Easton with a hit last inning, scored a run and drove in a run with his base hit. He's 1 for 2. Kosinski's on deck, reached on an E4 and scored a run last inning. And he's got a pop-out P6 on his scorecard. Little cue shot into the bat, got a chance to drop. Caught out in right. Oh, what a play by the right fielder. That's Johnson out there, Bryce Johnson, who checked in for Jackson Hickman last inning.
Made a whale of a catch there. Got a great read on the ball and made a decision to go for the diving catch, and it paid off for him.
Now Kosinski. Roman the pop out, and he reached on an E4. Left field. Coming on the left fielder, trying for another sliding grab. This one will drop in for a hit. And the tying run now down into scoring position. But again, 2 men out. I'm sorry, 1 man out. One man out. Here's Orser. The Pelican with the tools of the trade. A ground out, and he too reached on an E4. That's going to fall. He may have just tied the ball game. They're going to wave him to the plate. Here comes the relay. It'll be close. Out! He's out at the plate. Oh, what a fine defensive play on the relay. That is not something you always see in 9U baseball.
What an outstanding play by the right fielder to get the ball to the cutoff man. He throws it right through the cutoff man. He turns, makes a great throw to the plate to nail the runner at the plate.
You could see Olivier tearing around the third base bag, and I could see it was going to be a very close play. And what a play it was. We've got ourselves another challenge coming.
Hey, Blue, hold on. I got a question.
Yeah.
We lost our first challenge because there wasn't a view.
Right. No, the last one because it wasn't available. It's different. They didn't have, because the camera was on the player. It wasn't available. We didn't. We already told them that. What's that?
Yeah, tough to tell from that angle.
I thought we had the back one. Yep.
Oh,
Tiger
right there. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, you got him. Yeah. Yeah. What a great angle right there. You can see right there that the tag is on him right before he gets to the plate. Great play all the way around. No, I was telling him nobody has any more challenges.
Now, what a play out and right by Johnson to get the ball quickly into Sourwine, who turned and made a decisive throw to the plate. Then, of course, the tag was laid in by Tucker Harris. Orser will get the base hit. Olivier erased off the base pads. 9-3-2. Now, runners at first and second with 2 men down. We get Eason in as the last man who made an out to courtesy run for Orser, the catcher.
Both teams are now out of challenges. And what was lost in all that, Chris, was the tremendous play on the relay from the right fielder to the first baseman to home plate at 9 years old.
Tremendous. Not lost on me. Cam Steele in a massive at-bat, quite obviously. You never know, Rick, if this is going to be your last shot at it if you're the Pelicans.
Right.
You just never know.
You got a golden opportunity right here, right in front of you right now.
Steele 0 for 2. Blackburn set and deals. And it's hit out to short. Take it himself. Yes, sir. Right to the bag, and that's the inning. 6 unassisted on the force. 3 men reach in the inning on base hits, but no runs across the plate. We stay at 6-5. North Carolina going to try to add to their lead here. this, the bottom half of the 5th inning. Again, for those of you the uninitiated out there, we're only scheduled to go 6. So the Futures are 3 outs away from a national championship. They'll want to add to their lead, up by 1. Retirement of Biggins to start the frame on the F8. He's now 1 for 3. Here's Asher Sourwine. Sourwine inside the park, home run his last time up. Down 4-3 on the ground out here. Want to remind you, this is just game number 2 of our coverage here on the Travel Ball Select Facebook page. Ground ball deep, second. Can't make the play. Not quite anyway. Blackburn going to reach. Infield single.
Yeah, that's the proper way to score that. That ball was hit hard. One hopper to the second baseman. You had to go back to the outfield a little bit to try to even get a glove on it. He did a good job there. That would have been a tough play no matter what.
The 10U National Championship coming up next.
We now know who's on our 10U championship game. It's going to be the Wildcatters out of Texas.
Throwing, and now they'll get him back to the the third base bag. Oh, by the way, Miles Jackson, who just got that base hit, able to make his way down to second on the throw.
That's a good decision to hold him. I think he would have been out if he kept coming. I know the catcher might have bobbled the ball there at the end, but still, this is a nice strong throw by the left fielder on target.
Here you give Bryce Johnson a chance to come through with 2 men out. Hey, quick pitched him. Look at that. Johnson was barely set in the box, but Camp was ready to go, and he threw the saucer up there. Oh, gets away. Runner to the plate. That's a big one.
Adds a big insurance run for sure.
Expect a strike. We're here to eat.
7-5 ball game now.
No, sir.
Sleeps outside. Now, if I'm in the fashion police, Rick, I'm not letting him wear that purple arm sleeve.
Doesn't fit in, does it?
No, it really doesn't. Unless, of course, SBA Futures has a purple uniform that I don't know about.
They've got many colors. Rumor has it they have up to 6 uniforms, 6 different variations, but I don't think purple's one of the colors.
Swing and a miss.
That was a great pitch. One more, buddy. Hey, contact, Bryce. Contact. See it all the way. Run it up, bud. Run it up.
High pop into left. The call, the catch, the inning. Well, here we go. Top half of the 6th. The Pelicans from Louisiana need 2 to tie it up. William Hutto checks into the ball game at first base. Takes over for Asher Sauerwine. Meanwhile, Wyatt Blackburn is on the mound to try and close things down here in the top half of the final inning, potentially, and give the SBA Futures from North Carolina the national championship. We're in the top half of the sixth inning. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Alongside Rick Goff, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Amy Walker, I can't speak. Patrick Lurie, Sherry Lynn Fiveash. On our broadcast crew, Easton Jarrell to lead things off. Corbin Myers is on deck. And Logan Dorsey is in the hole.
Right now, Jarrell's job is just to get on base any way he can. They need 2 runs here, and they can't get 2 without getting somebody on base.
On the corner, Jarrell 0 for 2. Couple of ground outs. Blackburn trying to go the distance.
Fastball in the inner half of the plate, tied him up. He was looking for something away. They'd been pitching away the whole at bat, and the young man snuck the fastball on the inside half of the plate.
How about this, Rick? That is his first strikeout of the ball game. That hardly seems real. Here's Corbin Myers. He too 0 for 2, a ground out and a fly out. Blackburn's given up 2 earned runs, 7 hits, a strikeout, and a walk. Only 2 of the 5 runs scored have been earned, by my count. That's not official, of course, but it should be right. Dorsey on deck. So at least the Pelicans Baseball Club knows that they'll be able to turn the lineup over, try to get their top half to get a rally going. Will it come with 1 out or 2 out? That's the big question. Strike on the inside corner.
Same pitch he struck out the last batter with, that inside fastball that catches that corner. See what he comes up with here.
Walked him. So that'll get the tying run to the plate. In the aforementioned Logan Dorsey. Dorsey a couple of hits in the first and the fourth. Those sandwiched ground out to third in the third.
Well, this is what they wanted. They wanted to get back to the top of the order with 1 out, and that's what they have right here.
Blackburn set. And deal. Oh, what a gorgeous pitch that was. A little spinner that went right down the heart of the plate and fooled, surprised Dorsey.
Yeah, but in that position, that's a good take. You know, he's looking for something he can drive hard.
Off the corner. Runner advancing to second. The throw, not Louisiana. The club down to their final 2 outs. SBA Futures from North Carolina. The boys clad in electric blue. 2 outs away from a national crown. Bounced it up there. So a 3-2 count. Now you're a ball away from putting the tying run on the base pads. Ground ball, deep short. Try at the backhand play. Kicks away from him. It's rolling around in shallow left field. Run gonna score. RBI single. Logan Dorsey, his 3rd hit. Run scored for Myers. That'll get Knox McClure to the plate as the potential lead run. Ethan Murphy was shaken up on that play as it popped up and caught him in the face a little bit. Oh no, top half of the sixth. Top six. This is it. McClure reached on an E5, swiped a base, walked, scored a run, and was a 6'4" fielder's choice ground-out victim in the fifth. Runner going, throw down, he's safe. Hey, it goes into center field. He's going to pop up, trying to make his way down to third. Here comes the throw, and he's safe. The tying run is at third.
I can tell you wanted to say the tying run is 90 feet away.
I've done that already once, yeah.
But for this age group that don't know, it's 65-foot bases. But they don't have the same ring to it. Tying run is 65 feet away.
Wait, 60 or 65?
65.
Okay. Ground ball, right back to him. Blackbird coming to the plate. The throw to third, and he's back. Oh, baby.
Well, this is right here. This is a prime example. We have to remember that these players are 9. The pitcher didn't have to throw the ball. The ideal thing to do in this situation is to run at the runner.
So tough to teach.
It is so tough to teach, especially with 9-year-olds. They panic just a little bit, and that's what happens.
So here's Olivier. Base hits in each of his last 2 at-bats. He's 2 for 3.
But now you run into the risk. He's probably going to be stealing, which puts the winning run in scoring position.
Well, you knew Louisiana was not going to go down without a fight. Blackburn set and deal. Spun it low. If we are tied and we make our way to the bottom half of the final inning, it'll be the top of the order for Futures. Got a chance to fall and does. Base hit, and we are tied.
The close games that these guys have played this week, did we expect anything less?
Absolutely right. They played a 4-2 ball game during pool play that was nip and tuck the entire way, and then they played a 9-8 ball game that was won on a passed ball walk-off. That'll be it for Blackburn. He's going to check out. We'll see who the new hurler will be here, as Olivier has just delivered an RBI hit. It scores Dorsey. McClure made his way down to second. So now the potential lead run is in scoring position. 2 have scored in the frame, and we're tied at 7-7.
I tell you what, a comeback by the Pelicans. They easily could have rolled over, stopped playing when they were down 4-0 early in the ball game. But to their credit, they just kept battling. They realized that this game is 6 innings, not 1.
Ethan Murphy.
He's got a quick release to the plate. He's got an explosive fastball that jumps out of his hand.
Ethan, the new hurler for the boys in electric blue. He's been playing shortstop. How about that? He's a kid who got caught in the mouth a few moments ago by that ground ball. Hey, coach going to come out and say, hey.
We're giving you the ball, son.
Yep. Hope your chin feels better.
Give me 2 outs. Get me off
Climb
the field.
hill. He'll have his work cut out for him. He'll have Jacob Eason to start his campaign for the 2 outs. And this dude, no average 9-year-old hitter. He's 1 for 2 today as Eason, the left fielder. RBI single and a run scored back in the 4th. Ground out and a fly out. McClure scores the run, his 2nd of the ball game. Eason draws the RBI, his 2nd of the ball game. Runners are at 2nd and 3rd, 3 across in the inning. It's an 8-7 ball game. Here's a balk that'll make them give the Pelicans a 2-run lead. Eason down to 3rd. Kosinski.
I got to be honest, Chris, I was looking down the third base line. I didn't see the
I didn't
balk.
either.
I didn't see what the young man did. But 2 umpires called it on the field immediately, so it had to be pretty obvious.
Kosinski with a hit his last time up. Boy, oh boy, we are seeing quite the comeback here. Remember, SBA Futures led this ball game 5-0 through 3. Now it's a 9-2 quote-unquote run for the Pelicans.
Still only 1 out.
I believe there might be 2 outs. We might have our score bug wrong there. And McClure hitting to a fielder's choice is what I've got in my scorecard here. Jarrell, I think, started the inning with a strikeout. I believe there are 2 men out. We'll know here in just a few moments. Home plate umpire Shirley's keeping up with it. Ground ball at first. Stays with it. And I guess that's the 2nd out. Kosinski will get himself an RBI on the 3 unassisted ground out. Eason scores the run. 5 across in the frame. Mercy. From 7-5 down and 1 man out. And nobody on. 1 man out, nobody on, down by 2. A walk, 2 singles, and a double to go along with a little extra, quite obviously. 5 in the frame and a 10-7 lead. Right field, the inning continues. Nearly spoke too soon. Colton Orser reaches.
Yeah, I tell you what, in the younger age groups, 9 through 12 years old, this play is very popular. Ground ball, what you think is going to be a base hit to right field, ends up being a 9-3 put out at first base.
Here's Steele. Kosinski, by the way, courtesy running for Orser at first. Swing and a miss. Boy, it's really gotten away. From SBA Futures in this 6th inning. At short, bobbled. Threw it away. Throw down to 2nd, and they overshot him. That'll score a run. Oh, boy.
Boy, SBA just can't seem to get that 3rd out. It's elusive, and nothing they can do right now is going their way. They're throwing the ball all over the field, and it's not working out for them right now. They got to dig down deep, figure out a way to get that 3rd out, get off the field.
Oh, this is absolutely wild, by the way, Rick. they have scored all of these 11 tallies have come in 2 innings, just 2 innings. Remember, they were scoreless through 3, and then they had the 5-run 4th inning where you had the 3 errors in the frame, and you could argue for a 4th. And now they've scored 6 here in the 6th, and an inning where you've seen 2 errors. And you could argue a 3rd. Jarrell down on the 4-3 ground out. Dylan Kraus, Micah Murphy, Ethan Murphy. The scheduled 3 in the bottom half of this 6th inning.
Well, we need the same thing here as we did in the top half. 3 outs, right? SBA wasn't able to achieve that. Now we'll see if they can prevent the Pelicans from achieving it as well.
Pelicans Baseball Club out of Louisiana. 3 outs away from forcing a winner-take-all for the national championship versus a team they're 0-2 against so far this week.
SBA's mindset here is they're down 4 runs. Anything you do on the base pass, take 1 base at a time. There's no need to do anything crazy or be aggressive in any way, shape, or form until you at least tie it up.
All 11 of the runs for Louisiana have come in the 4th or 6th innings. They just put 6 runs on the board to rally from a 7-5 deficit to an 11-7 lead, and now they're 2 outs away.
Sometimes you hit the ball hard and you don't get rewarded. That ball was absolutely smoked on the button, but right to the second baseman.
Yep.
It's almost like he knew where the ball was going.
Well, he hit that ball better than he did the double to start the ball game.
He did.
A little duck snort out there behind first base that rolled down the line. Here's Micah Murphy. Murphy with a hit and a walk, a stolen base, an RBI, and a run scored. Can the Pelicans finish it off? Send us to a winner-take-all, which, of course, will not be broadcast live here on the Facebook feed. Travel Ball Select. We're going to have another classification coming up next, the 10U Championships. These first 2 games run behind a little bit. We're running behind schedule, Rick.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind.
Ethan Murphy on deck. Ground ball, well struck down to the shortstop. Bobbles, up, throw. And that'll go out of play, become a dead ball, and Murphy gets to first. I like calling that an infield single there.
Yeah, it was a tough play. He had a range to his left a little bit. Good speed on the base paths. That would have been a tough play to get him.
Give him.
And if you're the runner at second base, you have no desire to ever get to third unless that ball goes all the way to the backstop.
third. Check the runner, throw across, runner breaking from second, and Micah's in at the third base bag. But there's 2 men out.
See, that was almost a small mental error on the Pelicans' part. He checked the runner. You're up 4 runs. You don't worry about that run. You get the ground ball. You go straight over to first base. The runner almost beat the throw. And then you got yourselves a big problem.
1 more out for the Louisiana boys. Tucker Harris, 0 for 3. That one in the dirt. Runner holds at third.
Yeah, that's a great
Wisely,
job.
Right.
I mean, there's no reason to come in that point. You're down 4. Your run means.
There's the walk. SBA Futures has scored at least 1 run in every inning. 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, and in the fifth. Yet, even with a 5-0 lead, remember they had a 5-0 lead. They gave up 5 in the fourth and 6 in the sixth.
Trying to hold y'all's position, guys.
Tyler Biggins, runner breaks from first and heads down to second. No big surprise there. Harris will get himself a stolen base.
Again, if you're the Pelicans, the message is don't worry about the runners. Let's get the out.
Little jam job
This
off
could be
his
trouble.
fist. Camp the flip. They got him. And the ball game is over. The Pelicans Baseball Club forces a winner-take-all game for the national championship, which will take place about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes or so from now. Again, unfortunately, we'll not have the broadcast for you. We will shift our attention over to the 10U classification. That'll be the next championship game that we have here on our airwaves. 11-7 is your final. What a comeback for the Pelicans Baseball Club from 5-0 down to an 11-2 run, if you'll forgive the phrase. And now, winner take all. For Rick Goff and our entire crew here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, I'm Chris Mooneyham. Thanks for joining us on the Travel Ball Select page on Facebook.